Alright, ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, I want to talk about boxing a little bit, but let me talk about it real quick, okay? First things first. I made some premature statements online a while back when I found out that Floyd Mayweather, he was, as we should say, his reaction to people saying he may fight Manny Pacquiao next year, etc., 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 is that, it seemed as though he was making some premature statements concerning that, right? But truth be told, those people who do not understand what's going on, Floyd takes his time and he doesn't make a decision just like that, and he's not going to make a decision based off of people saying, oh, you need to fight this guy or you need to fight that guy. Okay, let me make it abundantly clear first of all that I'm not defending Floyd Mayweather, but I'm thinking about certain things. My first point is Manny Pacquiao is competing against Amir Khan right now for that spot, that spot to fight Floyd Mayweather. Now I'm going to make some things abundantly clear. First thing is, Manny Pacquiao is fighting this guy, Chris Algieri. Now, Chris Algieri is a junior welterweight, ladies and gentlemen. He's a junior welterweight. Pacquiao's not going to prove nothing by beating Chris Algieri. You get it? Pacquiao needs to look sensational in his fight. Amir Khan needs to look at his best in his next opponent. And Amir Khan's next opponent is most likely going to be a welterweight. It may be Robert Guerrero, it may be Devon Alexander, or it could be Riverside Rocky, Josecito Lopez. Now let's think about the competition between these two guys. Manny Pacquiao, he's fighting a smaller fighter who is a champion at junior welterweight, but he's not a welterweight. Best Pacquiao can do to give his most sensational performance, which he ought to do, is knock this guy out. He needs to knock out Chris Algieri. Okay, he needs to knock out Chris Algieri, period. Okay, because this guy is not in his weight division. Pacquiao is stronger, he's quicker, he's southpaw. He's supposed to knock this guy out. He's supposed to Danny Garcia Chris Algieri. Okay, there's no if or buts about that. There's no room for Chris Algieri going the distance. This is a bad pick by Manny Pacquiao's team in terms of an opponent. He should have picked Carlos Abreu, because being a welterweight, if he had beaten a welterweight, it shows something, and competing for the Floyd Mayweather sweepstakes. Okay, nobody wanted to see. First of all, when people heard Chris Algieri, they were like, "What?" The point is, Manny Pacquiao, you're picking an opponent that you're supposed to beat. Okay, because you're in bigger weight division than that opponent. You're supposed to be quicker, faster, stronger. You're supposed to be able to bully this opponent, get him out of there, like Danny Garcia. So Pacquiao should be training like crazy to beat this opponent. Now he's competing against Amir Khan. Now here's the problem. Amir Khan, if he fights Robert Guerrero and he beats Robert Guerrero, and Pacquiao knocks out Chris Algieri, knocks him out as he ought to do, Khan's still gonna get the go-ahead, because he fought a welterweight. And the other thing that you have to remember is Khan just moved up to welterweight. So that's going to say a lot about Khan. He's going to look a lot better than Manny Pacquiao, who's supposed to do that and supposed to beat Chris Algieri. And even if he knocks out Chris Algieri, he wasn't a welterweight to start with. It doesn't really say much. He's supposed to knock out Chris Algieri. You get what I'm saying? So Manny Pacquiao backed himself into a really stupid situation where he can't win in this situation. All Amir Khan needs to do is pick an opponent. He picks Josecito Lopez. He knocks out Josecito Lopez. He looks good against Josecito Lopez. It's over. Khan wins. So I think Pacquiao put himself into a compromising position where he did not pick the right opponent. Whoever did the picking for him picked a lousy opponent. It really doesn't say much. If you beat up a junior welterweight, it really don't say nothing. Whereas with Amir Khan, he has the opportunity to really stick it to Floyd and say, I'm really the worthy opponent. Amir Khan was more convincing in his win against Louis Collazo versus Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley, even though Timothy Bradley was much higher level competition. But even so, if Amir Khan goes and says he blows out Robert Guerrero or he blows out Devin Alexander, he's gonna get the nod, because Pacquiao doesn't have a high caliber level opponent he's facing. He's facing a guy in a low weight division who is not as quick as him. He's got boxing skill, but he has no power. You know, all of these things are factors that you have to think about. So anyway, that's all I got to say on that. I'm so angry in a way. You know, Pacquiao still has to knock out his opponent. You know, if that opponent goes the distance with him, he's going to look bad, and it's going to show up, and he's not going to be able to get that shot at the fight. So he has to look really well. He should be focusing on trying to just KO his opponent, get him out of there as quickly as possible. He can get him out of there in round 1, 2, 3, or 4. You know, that would work to his benefit, because, you know, he's supposed to get that kid out of there. Okay? Alright, so that's basically it. Wish you guys all the best.